Yo, yo, mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Yo, yo, yo. All right. Yeah. What's up, y'all? How's everybody doing this evening? My name is Johnny, and this is Live with Johnny. You know what? I don't know why people get on a mic and say mic check 1 2 1 2, but it sounds more professional, I think, because you don't want to annoy anybody either when you're on the mic. I've been learning to drink more water lately to try to curb my appetite, if nothing else. So I think it's working. I think it's working. Down to one meal a day type stuff, a meal and a salad. We're gonna see how that does for a little while. A meal and a salad. It may be a snack if I'm good. Because I sure had a donut today. I had a donut and a couple pieces of cheese. That was my snack today. So yes, I had a donut. But surprisingly, somebody said a bodybuilder told me before. He was like, because he was eating a donut, and I think I was eating like some oatmeal or something. I thought maybe was diet or something like that. He was like, you know what? He was like, this donut is better for you than that. What you were eating, what I was eating at the time. I was like, nah, not this oatmeal. He was like, yeah, that's just a bunch of this and that and this and that. You might as well eat this donut because it's just dough with a little glaze on the top. He's like, that's not bad. So sometimes the stuff you think is bad is not necessarily bad, like worse for you. You know, we got a lot of assumptions on what's good and what's not. And that's crazy. But anyway, we got a video that we're going to watch today or take a look at today. And I want y'all to kind of see how people think about Peoria, just outside looking in and things like that. Because there are people who actually get paid off for talking about us and stuff like that in Peoria. I know there's a comedian that talks about us and stuff like that. They go around, she goes around and talks about how busted, how dead Peoria is and stuff like that. And then there is a just a lot of documentaries out there about Peoria that aren't very good in a good light. But I just kind of want you to see because you might not know about this type of stuff. So it's just open your eyes to something that you have no idea that even exists out there. So we're gonna watch it, and it's really crazy. It's funny how it starts off, and I just kind of want you guys to kind of see how this goes. But this is funny. I'm gonna make it bigger, and then we're gonna take a look at it. Check it out. How people think about Peoria.
So I'm in Peoria, Illinois, which is ranked the third most dangerous city in the state of Illinois.
Third most dangerous city.
It's nice when you
Damn.
first get into town and you got somebody here to greet you.
Now that's bogus right there. Hold on.
And for some perspective on it being ranked the third most dangerous, Chicago is ranked 10th.
That's crazy.
And Rockford is ranked 9th.
And you know dude's still down there. Look at him.
So being ranked third ahead of both Rockford and Chicago is not a good thing.
You think he finna get some change? He even get
The
shit.
state of Illinois is listed as the 27th most dangerous.
That's crazy.
Is listed as it's dangerous, so it's in the bottom half, like the better half
Damn.
of the states. And I find that really hard to believe because I don't know how you rank, you know, in the top 25 as far as that when you have like cities like Chicago and Rockford and like Peoria is a smaller city, but it's smaller than those two, but it's still bad. The population here is 109,000 and declining.
Shit, city.
It's 53% white, 27% black, 8% Hispanic, and 7% Asian. And I love it when I first pull into a city and I start talking and then all of a sudden I miss every single light.
Stop talking.
But the average age here is 36 and 21% of the adults are considered seniors. So it's a slightly older population that lives here.
I could see that.
Which is odd for a city that has an older population to be, you know, on the more dangerous side. There's a 56% home ownership rate here, which is 11% lower than the national average.
Wow.
But 56%, in my opinion, any city that has over a 50% home ownership rate is doing pretty good. This road looks cute, so we'll pull down this part and at least see a good part or something that looks kind of nice.
She don't even know where she's
anyway.
going. She don't even know where she's going.
By design. The average income here is around $45,000, and there's a 20% poverty rate. So the $45,000 is actually pretty good for a city that's got higher crime. The 20% poverty rate is a little on the high side.
Y'all gotta chill. Y'all make this look bad.
16, 17% is common in pretty much all of cities of this size or larger. So 20% isn't really considered that bad. 1 in every 5 live below the poverty line. It sounds like a lot, but it's really not really even considered necessarily all that bad.
You can tell
I wouldn't say it's good, but we're using American standards in the 2020s, and the standards for America in the 2020s is so low that, you know, 1 out of 5 people living below the poverty line is actually not even considered bad.
She don't know where she's going.
There's a 39% marriage rate here, which again might sound like a low number, but that's actually kind of good for a city of this size. Not really seeing anything all too interesting.
Because you're not going nowhere. You're going around in circles.
This city so far. You got the river right there and that bridge there.
You have no idea where you're going.
Actually, there's nobody in this lane. I'm going to go up and see what this gateway, what this thing says. This actually looks kind of cool, whatever this
Oh my God, you don't know where you're going.
Down by the river here.
How you going to knock our city? You don't know where you're going.
What does it say? Gateway. Childers. I don't know what that means or what that is. But that looks like a cute place to go for here. Riverfront Peoria. It's just a nice place down by the river that they have.
Going by the river place.
I mean, this part looks really nice. That park looks really nice right there.
Oh my God.
You know, right on the river.
She's frustrating me. She don't know where she's going.
70% of the people that live here, 70%, this is a good number, high number, were either born here in Peoria or born in Illinois. That's a high number.
See that comment.
Most cities aren't that high. 9% are considered foreign born, and they're showing 5% non-citizen rate. Because that looks like that gets you into the...
She looks like she's the police, but I don't think so. They can't just go around like that.
And again, the non-citizen rate, I always give that stat, but we all know that unless
plus she don't know where she's going, so it could be Peoria police. And you can't just be another police. So I don't think she
doesn't really mean anything. It just means that 5% of the population here admitted to not being here legally.
Damn. Why are you sure?
I'm just going to drive around a little bit out here and a little outside of downtown.
Don't know where she's going.
Downtown was fine, but it didn't really have anything interesting. So Peoria has been submitting their crime data to the FBI, but in 2021, they didn't. And 2020 was the summer of Floyd and all that. That was the trigger. That was a catalyst for crime going bad that summer when Minneapolis let that city burn. When they let that city burn, they set off a spark that set off crime throughout the country.
What?
That was 2020.
Man.
2020 was bad, but once the lockdowns lifted, 2021 was far worse. It was far worse.
She might
as
be
far
right,
as crime goes in these cities. It was like 2020, people were all locked down. Stuff got worse in some areas, but it was still kind of under control. But in 2021, everything shot up, and it got really bad in a lot of cities. Now, they reported crime all the way up to 2020. They skipped 2021.
Yeah, she got like a Jeep.
And then they
That's
went
not a
back to
police car. She got like a
2022.
Jeep.
They reported numbers again. So you can use your own deductive reasoning and figure out why you think that happened. I personally think that the numbers got so high, they didn't want to report it.
What?
And since the FBI doesn't really go after cities to make them report it, like they just do it on their own. If they want to, they report it. If they don't, they don't. And that's just kind of how it is. I don't want to keep sitting at these lights.
Right, you don't know where you're going. You could have frustrated me, lady. Get you a GPS.
So the murder rate, that's on a per 100,000 person basis. The murder rate in 2019 was 22.5. That's the same, or right around the same as Chicago.
What?
The murder rate in 2022 was 21.7. Again, pretty much the same as that of Chicago.
Never stop shooting. We ain't,
So
we ain't got a lot of people here.
And I imagine if you're releasing numbers that put you on the same level as homicide numbers, that put you on the same level as Chicago, and you're okay with that, and then one year you don't release the numbers, that number must have spiked up pretty high.
That's why doing this shit.
The assault rates in 2019 and 2020 were in the 720s. Okay, now just for perspective, Chicago's assault rate is in like the 550s.
She ain't going nowhere.
100,000 people. So Chicago's like 550. Here in Peoria in 2019 and 2020, it was in the 720s. In 2022, it was 964. That's Baltimore levels. So they went from the 720s, which isn't good.
She going to the library.
Then they didn't post anything for 2021, but then they did post in 2022 the 964, and they somehow thought the 964. We're just gonna turn here because I don't want to sit at the light.
Oh my gosh, you going to the hospital. You ain't fucking going nowhere.
Baltimore levels. So I guarantee you that assault rate in 2021 shot up over 1,000, and they didn't want to report it. Because otherwise there's no reason for them not to report it if they're willing to report a 964 assault rate, which is about the same, if not higher, than that of Baltimore.
Where are you going?
That's again on a per 100,000 person basis. If they're willing to release that, and they wouldn't release the numbers for 2021, something bad really happened. Like one of their numbers skyrocketed, and to a point where they didn't want anybody to know about it. The theft rates per 100,000.
Oh my God, you are not going. You frustrate me. I'm gonna fast
are
forward.
in the 2,000 to 3,000 range,
she didn't go nowhere.
which is, in my opinion, just regular city bad. What you expect to see or expect to have to experience in a city when you're living in city limits. That's just, you know, what you'd expect. So the violent crime here, as a whole, is considered 221% higher than the national average. And the property crime is at 61%. So the property crime is well within that regular city bad. It's almost in a better than regular city bad. Like their property crime isn't bad at all here. The violent crime at 221% worse than the national average is well into that iffier category. Once you pass 200% worse, you're getting into that iffier category, and that sounds like largely, not that their homicides are low, because the homicide rate, like I said, is the same as Chicago, but it's largely due to the assault rates being, you know, Baltimore levels. But
all right, y'all, we're gonna fast forward.
The violent crime rate around 80 to 100% worse than the national average is past Peoria High School at the time I taught schools.
Okay, let's see what
and they're showing a year-over-year decrease of 10% on their crime, but that's largely due to the fact that they weren't submitting numbers in 2021. So numbers are going to start going down. Obviously, if you don't have any numbers there, it looks like you had 0. So it looks like your crime's getting better, even when it's not. The schools here are where things get really bad.
Oh, shit.
26%.
I'm sorry.
Of the students here, here's Peoria High School. We just happened to be driving past Peoria High School at the time I talk about schools. That school right there, 26% of the students will graduate proficient at reading and math.
Damn.
1 in every 4.
Damn.
That's it. 1 in every 4.
Damn.
Will graduate at a 12th grade level for reading and math.
They just shit in our school.
In the state of Illinois, it's only 33% on average. 1 in every 3.
Damn.
And in America, it's only 48%. 1 in every 2. So America only graduates less than 50% of the students proficient at reading and math. Illinois, 1 in every 3. And here in Peoria, 1 in every 4 graduate at a 12th grade level for reading and math. That is horrible. 85% of the people that live here completed the 8th grade, and 84% are high school graduates.
They just passing us through.
So that shows that's not a bad number for America, 84%. That's fairly typical. But that just shows they're just pushing these kids through.
That's what I said.
Because
they did me.
84% are graduating. I did the math on this for you, by the way.
Yep. I was the same way. I ain't no shit.
26%, that's the percent that are graduating proficient at reading and math. Of 84% that they are actually getting a high school diploma is 21.8%. That's the percentage of people that live here that likely can read and write or read and do math at a 12th grade level.
That's crazy.
1 in every 5.
Peoria just trying to get a check, man.
Now, I don't know how you have a city and expect it to be at all good in any way, shape, or form. When only about 1 in every 5. I don't know what that guy's doing there. He's reading something on his phone or something. When only 1 in every 5, house boarded up on the right.
Listen to what she's saying. This is where you get your crime from.
A lot of litter. That looks like a homeless person's stuff on the left there. Nope, it's just a pile of junk. Maybe it's a homeless person's stuff. I don't know. Lot of litter everywhere.
Look at East Bluff, guy. Look, she's talking about the litter.
I don't know how you expect a city, though, to not have high crime. I mean, if you wanna, write up the plan on let's see how we're gonna make the crime in the city. You can see all this stuff is boarded. We're a little bit out of the downtown now. Let's see how we can make a city have high crime. Well, we're just going to make sure none of the kids graduate smart enough to get a job.
It's engineered.
If we do that, they're going to go out on the streets and they're going to be all fighting each other and killing each other.
It's engineered.
From each other, although, like I said, the property crime here isn't bad at all. So they're just going to be out fighting each other.
I told y'all, it's engineered. She's telling y'all.
And that's a sure way to keep your crime rate higher. And then this is Illinois.
And listen, this is the thing about it. Let me interrupt because I got to do it for like I was telling somebody else the other day about like reality shows. Reality shows, it's like it's sort of reality until like what happens, but they set up the scenario. They'll put 2 girls in the room that are fighting each other, or they'll take something from one girl and make the other girl think. They have to set up, because if they just get girls in a room, all they're gonna do is talk. They might fight, but 9 times out of 10, they're just gonna try to get along. And people want to see more than that. So the producers have to think of things, challenges, contests, things that make them want to go at each other. So they set up the scenario. It's sort of like what they doing here. We ain't got no basketball programs. We ain't got no summer programs hardly for everybody. We ain't got none of this. We ain't got none of that. You feel what I'm saying? So if you don't have those things, this is somebody from the outside. You could clearly tell this is her first time coming to Peoria. And she's pointing out these things. So you know the people in charge know these things. She's not a genius by any means. She's a videographer like me. But as soon as she get in town, she notices right away, y'all don't have this, y'all don't have this, I don't have this. This is a perfect recipe for crime, perfect recipe for violence. And they know that. We got to start speaking up. We got to start saying something. All right, y'all. Let's watch a little bit more.
Got all those dumb rules. And I don't remember what was that one they had about where they weren't the I can't even remember what it's called right now. Where they weren't going to keep people in jail. Oh, I wish I could remember. It went into effect last January.
About that, no.
Where they didn't want anybody left in jail. I can't remember what it was called.
No bond.
But they had that it passed. I don't remember if it ever went into effect, but it actually passed.
Yep, it went into effect, sweetheart.
I'm going to think of it as soon as this video's over, too. It was a big thing there for a while. That's an undercover copper right there.
Look how cops don't even bother.
That's about all I got here for Peoria.
It's a cop right there. So
it looked like a city that has the crime that it has. It didn't look, it didn't look horribly bad, but it didn't look exceptionally good at all either. It looked like a city that it fits its stats.
So you go to the south end.
Sometimes you see a city that looks really nice, but the stats are really bad, and it makes you wonder, like, what's up? And sometimes you see a city that looks really bad and their stats are really good, and you're like, yeah, they're lying about the stats.
Now she going to the good part.
Peoria, it fit its crime numbers. So now we're pulling. I don't even know if we're still in Peoria at this point.
Oh my God! So
I'm gonna let this video end here.
You gonna frustrate me, lady? You did your thing. I appreciate what you said. Peoria is not that small. She just made it to a woman more. She's like, I don't know if I'm in Peoria no more. Lady, what city is you? You could tell she from a small ass town. Cause that's crazy. We got a little bit more area than that, sweetheart. But she didn't go to the right area. I would have took her to the hood. She would have been like, holy shit. I would have took her to the hood. I would have took her to what's that one place? Not Wingstop, but the Catch. I would have taken it out to the Catch and chill. Like, come on, let's just chill out here and smoke a little bit, drink a beer. She'd be like, holy shit, did you see that? You see those black people? Holy shit. So that just kind of shows y'all a little bit inside, because sometimes we don't know what other people think and about us and stuff like that. So that's how they think about us. But that's eye-opening. She hit it right on the nose. We set up. It's designed for us to fail. All right, y'all.